It's a proud city that sits on the edge of the inhabited world. South of here, Stewart Island, and then Antarctica. It's a location that has always loved its motorsport. Before this racetrack, they used the beach. Oreti Beach, made famous by the world's fastest Indian and Burt Munro. These days, it's all about the next generation of flyers, those with aspirations of Formula One and IndyCar. If you win here, you're on the radar. 19 drivers, 11 different nationalities. This weekend is a jam-packed schedule. Toyota's young guns in the GR86s, the multi-million-dollar fields in Somerset GTs, open-wheel classics in Formula Ford, the V8 roar of the TA2s and the unmistakable shriek of the rotary-powered Mazdas. Welcome to the Ascot Park Hotel Teretonga International, live and local.
There are lots of great reasons to visit this part of the world, but one of them, the great southern hospitality here in Invercargill. As we said in our introduction there, we are near the bottom of the world before we head to Antarctica, one of the most southerly racetracks in the world, and we are set for the 9th race of the season in the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy. It is the latest stop as we continue our road trip, our tour from the North Island to the south in the Repco Next Gen NZ Championship. Good afternoon, everybody. Greg Russ, Rihanna Crean and Andrew Waite with you on the grid here at Teretonga Park. Whew, it's a little on the cool side. We've had some challenging weather, but can we just say at the commencement of our broadcast, that is nothing compared to those of you that have endured some very tough, very difficult circumstances in the mountain in the further north there this week, and we are all very much thinking of you before we go racing this afternoon.
Yeah, we certainly are. And down here, we're close to Burt's Beach. It's but at the moment, I tell you what, it feels like we're closer to Antarctica. It is absolutely freezing here today, but things are about to heat up for sure.
That beach was iconic. I mean, if you've seen the world's fastest Indian movie, you will know that that is where the kind of cult figure of Burt Munro really first came to fame. But we've also had a bit of supercars action here so far this week, and not today in these conditions, but they were thrilled to have one here yesterday, weren't they?
Yeah, Rusty, very special here at Teretonga Park that Ryan Wood was in his Ford Mustang, the supercar that he won a race in last year, doing some laps around the circuit. Some very lucky flag marshals, in fact, were going for hot laps, and I think we can officially say it's the most southern race circuit a supercar has ever been on, and we're really excited for tomorrow as well because we'll have the 888 Camaro here on track as well.
The wonderful people here at Teretonga Park have been looking after our good mate with some teas and honey. Her voice is a little on the edge, but she's powering on because she loves some motor racing. Now, off the back of last week's round, one of the big stories was, of course, Ryan Wood with a pole position, a win of a very special trophy in this sport. We knew he'd do it, and it was a great breakthrough, wasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was. It was great for him to get that pole position, and yeah, it's just such a mix-up with this weekend, the way it's all planning out, and even behind us, we've got a couple that are looking like putting slicks on too.
All right. We'll talk to you more about what's coming your way this afternoon, but can we just remind people that the offering is huge, isn't it? Napa, Formula Ford, powered by Ford, and a whole lot more.
It is a back-to-back jam-packed schedule of racing here at Teretonga, and we've got something for everybody. We've got plenty of open wheelies, we've got Formula Ford, as you said, CTFROT, then we've got the heavy-duty TA2s out there, we've got the Mazda series as well, so there is plenty of action for everyone to enjoy while we're here.
And some very cool Somerset GT machines as well. There are some stars that are making their mark in this part of the world, but they have the global stage in their sights. Let's meet one of them now.
My name is Louis Sharp and I'm from New Zealand. I got into motorsport completely by accident, so I don't come from a motorsport family at all. My dad was a rugby player, so that was kind of what I started off doing. I wanted to be an All Black, that was my thing, and then literally one day we were driving home from a rugby game and happened to drive past the local go-kart track, and I was kind of always fascinated in cars, and I'd seen a little bit of Formula One on TV, but didn't really know anything about it, and we just decided to stop and have a look. And you know, one of the club members kind of came up to me and asked if I wanted to have a go. So I came back the next week and I had a go on this go-kart for the first time, literally knowing nothing about it. But I just instantly fell in love with the sport, and from that moment, I said to myself, this is what I want to do with my life. I love many things about motorsport. I think I love the competition. I'm a very competitive person. I love to compete. I love to win. I think that is the drive to be at the front, the drive to be the best, I think is what I love the most. Saying that the adrenaline, you know, the thrill that comes with driving a race car, is something that not a lot of things can replicate. So I think it's the hunt and the want to be competing and to be winning, but also the thrill and the adrenaline rush that comes with driving. I think for me, my biggest achievement is probably winning the 2023 British F4 Championship, and then following on the second year and winning the 2025 GB3 Championship. I think this was something that, winning back-to-back British titles hadn't been done since Ayrton Senna way back in the day. So I think for me to be the next person after him to do that was an amazing achievement for me. So I think this has been my biggest achievement so far. I look up to a lot of, idols or kind of heroes in motorsport. I think the guys I'd kind of look up to growing up would be obviously Ayrton Senna. I never got to watch him race, unfortunately, but looking back in all the old footage, he is definitely a hero to me. But more recently, I think Sebastian Vettel, he was, again, when I kind of first got into go-karting, he was dominating Formula One. So me being, a 6-year-old kid, I wanted to be like whoever was the best, and he was the best at the time. So I've looked up to him ever since, and he's definitely an idol to me. Obviously being from New Zealand, I want to be racing here. As a young kid, just starting off in go-karting here, looking to this championship, this was kind of the pinnacle of single-seater racing in New Zealand. So I've always wanted to do it. But not only that, the competition here is super strong, especially this year. You've got so many great names coming over from Europe, and so many guys, I'm going to be competing against overseas. So it was a no-brainer to come here. It's also in the winter over in Europe, so there's no driving anyway. So for me, it's a no-brainer to come here. And you do almost a whole season of racing before you even turn up to your first round in your main campaign. So I think the level of competition, and also how much they cram into this short 4 weeks. Like I said, it's a full season pretty much. So it's great training and a great opportunity to learn and to get better before my main season.
We are delighted to have viewers from all around the world join us for our coverage, live or local, on Sky Sport here in New Zealand. Welcome to those across the ditch watching on Fox and KO, and we've had some fabulous numbers on YouTube all around the world, tuning in to see the next generation of stars taking aim at either Formula One or IndyCar. We are on the grid at Teretonga Park here in Invercargill. It is just 13 degrees here at the bottom of the South Island, ready for race 9 of the season of the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy. Now, qualifying earlier today was in very challenging conditions. Jin Nakamura actually took pole position, but because he triggered a red flag, and we'll detail more of that in the commentary, he has a 3 grid place penalty. So that means this man here, Ernesto Rivera, will start from pole position. The conditions are a little bit nicer, Ernesto, than when we spoke this morning.
Yeah, quali was super tricky. Now it's a bit more dry. It will still be challenging, but it should be fun.
The lead up for you, the weather conditions for both Thursday testing and Friday practice, very different to what we've been greeted with today. How are you feeling from a race car perspective?
Yeah, it's going to be a bit tricky to start do a standing start, but we'll see. Track will be changing a lot. It depends if it rains or if it's drying, but we'll adapt.
We love the Red Bull colours. We love the fact that this car is on pole position. Big ask, can you do it today?
Yeah, I will send it.
All right, there you go. He's going to send it. Let's go to Rihanna. Thank you.
Freddie Slater starting out on the front row of the grid for this race as well. Freddie, tricky conditions earlier today in qualifying. Just tell us how difficult it is to set a lap time on this circuit.
Yeah, it's one of them, like all the tracks are old school, so the mistakes punish you a lot. So, yeah, good to get a lap in this morning in very bad conditions, but yeah, it's dried up a little bit more now, so it's just a normal wet race and should be good fun.
How critical is it for you in this series to really capitalise on this position that you're in right now?
Yeah, for sure it's going to be important, but yeah, it's nice to be at the front, and now we just got to do a normal race and see where we end up.
We wish you all the best. Good luck.
Thank you.
While the World Rally Championship has been competing in Monte Carlo, its two-time star in Kalle Rovanperä has been with us on the tour, taking the first steps in a brand new challenge for him in single-seaters. He'll be racing in Japan this year, as we've been telling you in the coverage. He doesn't want to talk to us at the moment, which we absolutely respect. No problem. This is a great opportunity off the second row of the grid for him. So let's watch what Kalle Rovanperä can do in this race. Damp conditions, obviously, maybe that'll work for him. Here's the driver that walked away with the pole position trophy. Can we have a word with him? We get the okay from High Tech. Thank you very much to the team there. Wow, it's better than what it was when we spoke after qualifying, isn't it?
Yeah, much better. I think it's gonna be, yeah, drivable, I would say, yeah.
Do you like these sorts of conditions, Jin? Do you welcome the kind of wet weather, or would you prefer that we had something a bit brighter?
Yeah, I think wet condition is quite fun, especially this track. Yesterday I drove this condition. Yeah, I want to enjoy this race one.
Yeah, we want to enjoy it too. Have you had a nice reaction back at home to what you've been doing here in New Zealand, and have you enjoyed the first kind of 3 weeks so far?
Yeah, I'm enjoying a lot. So I went to so many places. Yeah.
Okay. We'll leave you to it. Thanks, Jen. Enjoy the race. Ree?
And just as the sprinkles start to get a little bit higher, Jack Taylor, the young Australian, last time we were at Taupo, you were the man starting from pole position in these very similar conditions. Is it conditions that kind of suit your style?
Yeah, I think I definitely do like these conditions. Unfortunately, in this quali, I didn't really make the most of it, but yeah, I think we'll have a good race. Yeah.
Starting this one out from 6th position on the grid. I mean, as you look at this circuit, it's very short, but obviously very challenging. What are the hot spots that you have to look out for?
To be honest, a bit of everywhere. Obviously, got to make sure you don't get, passed down the straight if someone gets a toe on you. And I guess, if you're attacking, you got to try and get a good toe down the straight. But yeah, there's not really any particular spots, really. It's just everywhere.
The whole entire circuit. Thanks, Jack. We wish you all the best for this one. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks to Ree and Rusty on the grid here at Teretonga Park. This is a fabulous racetrack, one of the most southernmost in the world. We zoom in on the South Island of New Zealand and you find us near Invercargill. We're about 10 minutes from the city of 50,000 people itself, next to the Oreti River, and this is the racetrack. The 19th visit by this championship here. It's the second most visited circuit in the entire 21-year history of what is now Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania. It's a great circuit. 7 official corners. A lot of them are flat in one of these Formula Regional cars. And this is Freddie Slater's lap that he was lucky enough to get in a very wet qualifying session earlier today. Richard Crail and Andrew Waite with you in the commentary box. Andrew, this was the scene at about 9:30 this morning. Pouring rain, and Freddie was good to get a lap in that's ultimately put him on the front row.
Yeah, initially you can see just the spray, how hard it is to see where you're going, and you can see the shine on the road to the right, to the left. It's all about picking the best possible part of the track that you want to be in, and it doesn't make it easy as well when you are right up behind the car. Look at the flashing lights on the car, the rain lights. That's all you've got as your reference when you're up behind someone like that. So you're more or less just following that light in front of you. Where's it going? But oversteer on the exit of turn 2. And this part of the track through here, it's really important to set the car up nicely for the braking zone of what is called the hairpin. There's a nice bump on the way in. You can see the understeer and then the oversteer on throttle, trying to stay off those white lines. You can hear the bit of the wheel spin on exit, and then coming up towards the last corner. Obviously a very, very short lap. Managed to get the car stopped. Slightly wide line, so he can open the steering a little bit earlier to get on the throttle as fast as he possibly could. And that lap was good enough to put him on position number 2 for race 1.
More than 11 seconds slower than they were in the dry conditions, which in its own was an amazing feat. So the young Brit starts alongside the youngest driver in the field in Ernesto Rivera, who already has a couple of podium positions to his credit. It's 6th in Slater and 8th in Rivera in the CTFROT Championship. We've been talking about opportunity all season long, Andrew Waite, and this championship format this year means there are opportunities throughout every weekend to capitalise on a good grid position. As we take a look at the Repco weather wall with showers, yes, we know that. It looks like the bulk of the bad weather today has now passed north of Invercargill, and there are just going to be intermittent showers coming across the afternoon. And don't forget to follow us on the socials to get all the latest and greatest from each weekend of Repco Next Gen NZ. But opportunity awaits here for some drivers that need championship points. With the other story, as we cast our mind back and our vision back 11 rows on the grid, is the championship leader once again is buried outside the top 10. Opportunity.
Massive opportunity for everyone, especially because it is still wet as well, so the risk level is through the roof. So if you're down towards the back of the grid, it's a higher chance to get caught up in not your own mistake, but other people's mistakes, as we can see the one warm-up lap board go out, and away they go for that. And this is a good opportunity as well to do a practice start in these wet conditions. Obviously, when it's wet like this, it is a lot more slippery for them to take off, and you've got the white lines around as well. It's more or less like taking off at the traffic lights. That's how easy you've got to be, but it sounds all good. You know, your engineer tells you to make sure you're nice and easy off the grid, but in the heat of the moment, not so easy.
Thanks to Cream Insurance, this is the starting grid here for Teretonga as we launch into the second half of the season. So Rivera Slater, Rovan Pera out of 3, and his teammate Jin Nakamura 4. Kanato Lee and Jack Taylor off the 3rd row of the grid. There are some big names outside of it. Nolan Alla, best start of the season, but had a couple of grid position penalties for a red flag. Cooper Shipman, best start of the season in 8th. Ryan Wood, Topol winner out of 9th, and Theon McLaughlin, who brought out the red flag, another one, in qualifying out of 10. Seb Manson, 11th, and the championship leader, Ukachukwu, out of 11th position. He has got a job to do today. Yevon David, with all the support from Sri Lanka that we've loved over the first 2 weekends out of 13, and Baptista next. La Tourette, Sway, and then big names on the back row. 2 fast Kiwis, Louis Sharp and Zach Schooler. They have a job to do this afternoon.
They certainly do. They obviously didn't get a very clear lap in that qualifying this morning due to the red flags, and put them down the back of the grid. So we know they're better than that, and it just makes it very, very difficult when there were so many red flags this morning to get a clear lap and get in position a bit higher. So those guys have certainly got their work cut out for this one.
That's the shot from the 6th drone cam. The light mist just hanging in the air here at Teretonga in between the pine trees. It's a stunning location for a racetrack, but it is exposed to the elements. It is fearsomely quick, this venue too. It's the fastest circuit in terms of average speed on the calendar, and one of the quickest in the Southern Hemisphere as well. This is a fearsome place, and it has seen some history since it opened in the late 1950s. 44 current Formula One drivers have raced, or Formula One drivers in the history of the sport have raced here, and that includes the most recent world champion in Lando Norris, who is a CTFROT champion in 2016 and a decade later won the world title. Final few cars in position, rain lights flashing, track declared wet, which means there's no use of the push to pass in this race. So it's up to driver skill and ability. Who prevails in tricky Teretonga? Away we go. Slater's start, possibly the best from the outside of the front row. Rovan Peras was better from the second though. He's trying to squeeze his way down the inside, but it's 2 cars wide on the run to turn 1. Oh, and off goes Rivera. He's off, screen right, out of shot, and into the gravel trap. He is gone. High-tech cars in the mix. Was it Rovan Pera? Is in there, or Slater leads the way around the back. So Rovan Pera 2 up to 3rd place. Nakamura with a good start in car 12. Everyone away cleanly as Ryan Wood goes around the outside, but we're going to go to safety car straight away.
Not sure if it's just the angle, but it nearly looked like a bit of a helping hand off the start there for Rivera. So we'll wait to get a replay of that one. But yeah, certainly not a great start for them. It's actually both cars on the front row didn't get a great launch, so that put a lot of pressure on them down into turn one. Second row, both Kalle Rovanperä and Nakamura, they got really, really good launches. So that's where that bottleneck sort of was created. But yeah, it'd be interesting to have a look at a replay there, see if there was contact from behind. Would have been Nakamura on the outside. So we'll wait and see what unfolds with that one.
Rovanperã's start was excellent, as you said, but it's so narrow. Just had nowhere to go. You cannot get 3 cars wide on the run to turn one. So keep an eye on car 12 and car 69, second row of the grid. Brilliant launches as Slater moves across from Rivera too. Rovanperã almost used the pit exit to try and squeeze past, but there just wasn't room to get it done. Rivera's start was good, but keep an eye on the Red Bull car as he turns into turn one. Not sure if there was contact there, Andrew. They were very, very close. Hard to see from that angle, but this might explain it better from the 6th drone cam.
So look on the left-hand side of the 2 cars at the front there. So whether or not, looks like he's mauling far enough up ahead at that point. Yeah, that's just all on his own by the looks of that one. So race control and driving standards, they'll be having a really good look at that one as well. But yeah, just very quick the way the rear snapped around. It was sort of just as they sort of turned in, the rear of the car spun around on him and ended up in the gravel. So that seems to be the hot spot this weekend, doesn't it, Richard? Everyone we've seen go off has generally been at that part of the track.
Lewis Sharp up to 13th position and Zach Schooler to 15th in just a couple of corners. So they made early ground, dropping down the order. Yevon David, we understand, may have stalled at the start, so the young Sri Lankan has disappeared to the very back of the field. Freddie Slater, Jin Nakamura and Kalle Rovanperä, the top 3. Big opportunity here for Nakamura, who is in the title battle. He currently sits 4th in the championship, less than 8 points away from his teammate Kanato Lee, who is in 2nd. So this is a great opportunity for him to get some points, for Slater to close in as well. He's only 17 points out of 2nd in the championship. So there have been big swings so far in CTFROT this season. And there is Yevon David, so right at the very back of the field, we understand stalled at the start.
Lucky to get collected from behind, as that's one of the worst things that can happen off the start. As we take another look at the replay, so Kalle Rovanperä on the inside, he had a really, really good launch. And Yevon David there, luckily, I think he got away, it just bogged right down. So whether or not he was very, very quick to the start button, great reaction to that, or managed to sort of bunny hop it away eventually and get it going. So either way, and that's the hard thing about it as well. You're so low in the RPM on these starts, and you're just trying to drive the car away like you're at the traffic lights, riding that clutch for a long time to control the wheel spin through that. So stalling in these conditions is actually just as hard, if not just as easy, if not in the dry, to stall.
Cooper Shipman as well, having started this one in 8th position, is up to 5th place. So very good start for the young American in front of Jack Taylor, who's another to have gained ground. Taking, of course, advantage of Ernesto Rivera's off at turn 1. But still, strong starts from them and positive launches, as we touched on, for Lewis Sharp, who's up to 13th place. Nolan Alla, through all of that lost ground, remember, started up inside the top 10. He's now back to 12th position as well. So we pause behind the GR Supra safety car. Another hectic start to a CTFROT race, as it always has been this season, as we work our way into the second half of the championship. 4 races here at Teretonga, and then the 3 at the Napa 70th New Zealand Grand Prix in a week's time at Highlands. Rusty.
I am far from a weatherman, Krause, as you know, but the conditions are kind of unpredictable. And so on the opening lap, as they set off, it really began to pick up. It was coming in sideways and creating far more of that that spray that you would expect from the rear wing of the car, the rooster tails that we get, and now it's kind of eased back off again, a little like it was on the grid. So this is, you know, if you were wanting one or the other, so you at least had some consistency, we don't actually have that right now.
It's a good point, Rusty, and with the rain solidly for several hours this morning here at Teretonga, but since then it's just been these little passing showers that are coming up from the south, hit the circuit, it rains heavily for a little bit of time, then it disappears again. And because it's so breezy here as well, it does move a lot of the water off quite quickly, so rapidly changing conditions.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well for the drivers. They just got to remember, as much as these conditions keep changing, it is the same for everyone. There's, unless the conditions really all of a sudden brighten up, you're not going to see anyone come in for tyres, so it's really up to what they've got on track at the moment to really optimise the package that they have underneath them.
Jin Nakamura in second position, 19 years of age, hails from Chiba in Japan, won the Super Taikyu title and has been racing in Formula Regional Europe, bit of LMP3 competition as well. So at this level, at this age, relatively experienced race car driver in all kinds of conditions. Freddie Slater, the reigning Formula Regional European champion last year. So you're looking at the cream of the crop at this level of motorsport, which is the stepping stone between Formula 4 and up into FIA Formula 3, of which more than half of this field will be racing alongside the Formula 1 World Championship this season, including Freddie Slater. So this is an important part of a young driver's career. That's the view down into the final corner, the slowest part of Teretonga's 2.5 kilometres. And such a critical corner, especially in a race, Andrew, where push to pass isn't going to play a role. Getting corner exit out of there is going to be critical. A little mistake, a little bit of oversteer, you might find yourself in a world of pain by the time you get halfway down the straight.
Yeah, you certainly need to make sure you get the exit right, and one of the biggest focuses on that is you want to get on the throttle as early as possible, but at the same time you do not want wheel spin, because any loss of traction is lap time down the straight. So it's a real balancing act to get on that throttle nice and early, but as smooth as you possibly can, right on the limit of the grip.
Ernesto Rivera's car has been recovered, so we shouldn't be too far away from a race start. In fact, we've just been told from Motorsport Australia Race Control that the safety car will be in at the end of this race lap. Motorsport New Zealand Race Control, that is. Don't worry, it's not being driven from across the Tasman. That's the second DNF of the season as well for Ernesto Rivera, who has been one of a couple of real standouts that none of us, to be brutally honest, had circled in our notes coming into the season. At 17, he turned 17 in December last year. So he is the youngest driver in the field, but he has had a couple of sparkling performances.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's been up there more often than not, and clearly showing the pace that he does have. And as we just can see now, the safety car lights are out. The Toyota GR Supra safety car lights are extinguished. So now you'll see that safety car disappear off into the distance, and it's up to Freddie Slater to control the speed previously set by the safety car, and it'll be up to him where he's going to go. I would say it'll be somewhere towards the exit of the last corner. Yes, it's the most predictable spot to see where he'll get on the gas, but at the same time, it's your best opportunity to get straight on the steering and just get into it.
Safety car control line is basically the same as the pit lane speed limit line at pit entry, as Freddie takes the entire field as wide as he possibly can to get the best exit out. They splash through the puddle on the exit. Good restart. That's the control line. So from that point, you can overlap, you can overtake, you can go racing. Back to green flag conditions. Ryan Wood was in the tow of Jack Taylor. So the tow ball winner already up to 7th position, looking to make ground as they go down towards turn 1. Wow, Freddie Slater was very wide through there. Managed to hang on the outside of the road. The high-tech cars, Linus Stern next, Nakamura, Rovan Pera and Lee. Then we go back to Cooper Shipman, having his best race of the championship so far. Side by side and wheel to wheel, Ryan Wood and Theo McLaughlin. The Irishman has a look up the inside at turn 3, but can't get it done. And Ryan Wood is going to hold on. Behind them is Ugo Igachukwu, the championship leader in car number 4. Once again, making ground early in a race.
Decent moment for Igachukwu there on the exit of turn 1, as he's obviously pushing on, trying to eliminate the damage that's been done with his qualifying position. It's so hard to see where you're going in these conditions. The spray that's in front of you, the main thing you can see is just that rain light. It's such an important part as you're going down the straight, just focusing on where the cars are in front. As Rovanpera all over the back.
He got a great run, Andrew, out the final corner. The two-time World Rally champ looking to put a move on his teammate. Couldn't get it done at turn 1. No push to pass in the wet conditions. It is disabled before the start of the race if the track is declared wet. Tyre choice was free, and there was a little bit of speculation and a bit of game playing, in particular from the high-tech quartet, that there may have been a decision of slicks. Turns out that would have been a terrible decision, but I like the game playing, and they had a couple of their cars up on jack stands on the grid, waiting with the slick tyres just sitting there, maybe thinking about rolling the dice. Too wet to do that, but I like the games. Turns out they don't need it, because high-tech having a very good race so far.
It's great to see the pace of Rovanpera there, all over the back of his teammate. Obviously loves these sort of conditions, having the car move around underneath him, but that rally experience, obviously, yes, it does make a difference, learning that car control, but these kind of cars are just so different to what he's used to. And that racecraft side of things, obviously Calais, he's not used to being behind another car, so he's got to learn, where am I going to place the car? What am I going to do to be able to make a position up ahead?
Cooper Shipman having a really good day, isn't he? In 5th position, he's in that red nose, car number 14, leading a battle pack that includes Jack Taylor, Ryan Wood and Theo McLaughlin just in behind. This is that group, the reigning US F4 champion, and claimed that title with Kiwi Motorsport, the team he's driving with here. Hails from Austin, Texas, which has become a bit of a mecca for open wheel racing in the US of A, home of the US Grand Prix. Cool part of the world as well, and he's just had a really big moment, and it might open the door for Jack Taylor. The battle for 5th and 6th place through the little left-hand kick before the final corner, and he's going to have to defend here, and that's fine. He'll hold the position there, but Taylor's going to get a better drive out, although he's muscled out wide on corner exit, and Cooper holds on to the position at the moment. Taylor right up in the toe of car number 14, and they'll go side by side on the run down towards turn 1.
It's quite a narrow track here as well, so there's not a lot of room either side of the cars, and there's a crown on the road, so there's even work going on as a driver down that main straight. As round the outside goes Jack Taylor. What a move.
I don't know if we've got an award for pass of the year or season or event, but
that's
maybe
up there.
We need to invent one. That was excellent. But there is grip. You can find grip on the outside.
Yeah, there is, but at the same time, with the amount of moments we've seen and cars spin off the turn 1 on the outside, as Taylor there has a massive moment on the exit of turn 2 there, very, very easily done. It's quite fast through that section from 2 all the way to 5 through there. It's fast, it's flowing, and you've got to transfer load left and right quite a lot. So as you transfer from the left to the right, obviously you're loading the other side of the car so much quicker that's where things the rear can snap on you quite easy. But let's have a look at this move again. Remember, no push to pass. Obviously just straight line speed, a little bit of a slipstream. The hole in the air, punch by Shipman, and then around the outside, had the grip. Shipman up the inside, had that bit of understeer, ran a bit wide, had to clear the throttle, and Jack Taylor got the move done.
Great pass as we find Ugo Chukwu battling with Theo McLaughlin now a little bit further back. So 8th and 9th position. Sebastian Manson is up behind them as well, and Ryan Wood leading this little battle pack. Freddie Slater, the race leader, by the way, we don't need to show him. He's 4.2 seconds out in front, reveling in clean air and no spray and no dirty air. He's driving away out in front from Jin Nakamura, who's still got Calais Rovanpera half a second behind, with the 3rd of the high-tech cars in 4th position. Freddie Slater's best lap is almost a full second quicker than anybody else in the race so far. This is the kind of drive we've been waiting for by the Formula Regional European Champion of 2025.
You don't have that statistic for no reason, do you, being European champion? And that series, very, very tough series as well. So for him to come here and be at the front of the field, certainly no surprises. And let's just keep an eye on Ugo Chukwu here. Just about every lap we've seen him on the exit of turn 1 here. He's got an oversteer. The car's snapping sideways on him out of there. Not that time, because he's right up underneath car 33.
This has been the story of his season when he hasn't been out front winning races from pole position as he did at Hampton Downs. He's been recovering superbly. Only one challenging race really in the championship, which was race 3 at Topol, where he was 13th, but charged from 11th to 4th in the feature race last time out, which was a massive swing. At one point, his championship lead was less than 20 points. He came into this weekend 33 in front of Kanato Lee. So a massive swing, and he has just been so cool and level-headed, accumulating points and positions where he possibly can. And there is an opportunity here for him to continue to do so as he follows Theo McLaughlin. Slater out in front, Nakamura, Robert Lee in 4th position. Taylor in 5th, has still got Cooper Shipman behind him as they brave the spray down at turn 1, and then it's Ryan Wood in 7th. A little bit further back, Sebastian Manson is in 10th position. Yuan Pu Chui, the Chinese, has come up from the very back of the field after an unlucky qualifying performance. He was one of those drivers caught out by not being able to set a proper lap time. He's up to 11th in front of Evan David, who stalled at the start, back to 12th. Louis Sharp from the back of the field to 13th, and Zach Schooler to 15th. So they made good ground early, Andrew, but they've not been able to make much progress as this race has gone on.
And that's no mean feat for Evan David as well. The fact that he's got past Schooler, who's been a front runner in this championship, and obviously Louis Sharp. So he's managed to pass both of those on his charge back through. We saw he was very strong in the wet conditions at Topol. So it certainly suits as he goes up the inside.
Of Sway, gets it done, and they go side by side, but he'll tuck back in to get the toe. So didn't get the good drive out of the corner. He was too shallow there, but now he's got a good slipstream. He'll run down towards turn 1. He'll try and go around the outside. We've seen that pass made, but not this time by.
Clearly loves these conditions. The way he's able to drive the car, and as I was saying, to pass who he has so far is super impressive and putting all sorts of pressure on the back of Yuan Pu Chui.
About the least Sri Lankan conditions you can possibly get, I would imagine, as he goes round the outside. How about this for a pass? Another one, the long way round at 3 and gets it done. That's why he's been able to make his way through the field.
That is super impressive. To be able to make a move there around the outside, he is on an absolute charge. Next car up in front of him is Sebastian Manson. Then from there you can see there's a bit of a gap up to the next group, but we still have just over 10 laps remaining in this race.
And full credit to the entire field. They've been driving magnificently in these really challenging conditions. The first fully wet race of the season. We had some inclement conditions at Topol last weekend, but nothing like this. So a brand new experience for everybody on this Pirelli tyre, in this particular car, and on this very fast, very challenging racetrack. Nolan Alla for Giles Motorsport in the Martini livery car, looking to work his way past Louis Sharp at 13th and 14th place. Bumped into Evan David in all places in Queenstown on a Monday evening. Was out with the family. They had dinner down by the water, enjoying the sights and sounds of New Zealand and the beautiful South Island. Had a terrific time, really good to see. Making the most of their time in this part of the world. And everyone's dad very proud of what his young guy is doing. A little bit further back, this is sort of further forward up the field. Ugachukwu up the inside of McLaughlin. So that was for position for 8th and 9th place. Nicely done.
Now on the back of Ryan Wood as well. So Ugachukwu here, he's certainly got some pace in these wetter conditions. And obviously his teammates with Freddie Slater as well. So they've obviously got these M2 cars dialed in nicely for these sort of conditions.
How big a swing do you make from a car setup point of view in these conditions, Andrew?
It's trial and error. The first reaction to do is to soften the car right up. To be able to, as we see Trevor Latourette there, have a little bit of a spin. Luckily no gravel traps, so should be able to get back underway.
Oh, Schooler off the road, and he looks like he's in the tyres as well, and that will bring the second safety car of race number 1 here at Teretonga. So Zach Schooler, who started at the back, it's been an all or nothing season so far for the young Kiwi. And it's a bit of nothing today, unfortunately, for Zach. A long way off the exit of the road, down sort of exit turn 1, that long left-hand sweeper. Oh, and Evan David off as well. after such a starring performance and some great passes. He just worked his way past Sebastian Manson and had got himself into 10th place.
Yeah, great recovery drive. Unfortunately, all come undone now with being stuck in the gravel there. So it's a shame for him, as that was a stellar effort to get back to where he was. But that's what it comes back to at the same time, is it's risk versus reward in these conditions. Yes, you can be fast, but the faster you are, there is more risk involved about, you know, how late you can brake. It's all well and good going later and later and later on the brakes every lap. But in the wet, you learn the hard way, because when you've gone too late, all of a sudden you lock up or you snap in the rear and it's gone. There's no chance of recovering those sort of moments. So that's why it makes it a little bit harder to find the limit in these wet conditions. So I know you hear drivers all the time in wet conditions talking about risk versus reward, and that is exactly that.
7th in the championship coming into this weekend. Zach Schooler, a couple of wins to his credit. Race 2 at Hampton Downs at the opening round of the championship, and then claimed race 3 from pole position last time out at Taupo. The grid for race 3 determined by fastest lap, so he basically sacrificed race 2 at Taupo and went fastest lap hunting, which worked to him because he converted it into a win. Let's have a look. So Yevon David in front. He just got past Manson and was driving away, and then just on his own, Zach Schooler. And then this was Trevor Latourette. So he was the first one we saw spinning. All unlinked incidences, really. There's 3 all at about the same time, and as a result, the GR Supra safety car is back on the racetrack.
So if you actually look as well at that replay, Nolan Eller, I think it was, just up in front, just caught a glimpse of his car. He nearly ran off the track as well. And quite often as a driver, you judge what you're doing on the car in front. So when they make a mistake and run wide, quite often you end up doing the same thing. So I'm wondering if that's part of what happened to Zach there. At the end of the day, it's, you know, he's in control of his car. So it's about him absolutely maximising that. And yeah, it's surprising how much those sort of situations can make a difference.
Second DNF in a row for Zach Schooler. He's had the 2 wins, but he's also had 2 finishes outside the top 15 in a race. So it's been a really challenging season for the young man, who's based over in the UAE and go back to racing in Europe this season. Freddie Slater, though, looking for win number 1 for his season. A couple of podiums last time out at Taupo, 1 at Hampton Downs. He's 6th in the championship, just 50 points off the championship lead coming into this weekend. So there's opportunity here for the Bayliss and Harding driver to score big and to get a win. Greg Rust.
I'm near pit entry with the MTech squad and Bruin Beasley. Firstly, have we heard it all from Zach Schooler?
Nothing at all. No, I think he's looks like he's gone off on his own, and he's a bit quiet about it all. So
yeah. You guys generally are a little bit despondent in the wake of qualifying. Obviously, that impacts the likes of Louis Sharp. Just explain it as best you can.
I mean, the harsh reality is pit lane order is determined by championship last year, and it rotates along. This week we're last in pit lane, and during qualifying there's a number of red flags, so 3 of our 4 guys never actually got a complete flying lap in. And the way the control line here is you trigger it when you leave pit lane. So they trigger it when they leave pit lane from the dummy grid or from pit lane. They come around, cross it again, and it's deemed as a lap. So our guys never did a flying lap, hence their 3rd, 4th, 5th last, whatever it is. So our whole weekend's been compromised. The disappointing thing is the red flag session was ended early. You never had to run its full term. We might have got a lap in and we would be last. And it's detrimental to our whole weekend now. We've got a crash car on the wall running down the back. We've got another 2 guys that are midfield, amongst stuff they probably shouldn't be around.
I mean, what was the advice to like a Louis Sharp? I mean, this is at an important moment of his career, basically, isn't it?
100%. It's defining. You know, on our practice pace, he would be on the front row. Now he's 17th on the grid. So all he can do now is do what he can. I mean, it's compromised the whole weekend from now, because your grid position for race 3 is determined by race 1 and 2's lap times. And when you're running around the middle of the field, it's effectively had a massive effect on everything. And I think it's been pretty poorly handled, to be fair. I don't believe it's fair that 3 guys weren't able to do a flying lap, are still classified as qualifiers, and they're down the back.
Thank you for talking to us.
Greg Rust talking to Bruin Beasley, the team principal at MTech Motorsport. 5 wins this season for MTech, the most of any team in the championship, but clearly disappointed with the way that this weekend has played out. The control line thing is, it's a quirk of the racetrack, isn't it? Whether it is triggered the moment you drive out of either pit lane or the form-up grid. So on timing, they completed a lap. It just was a slow lap because it was their first lap out of the pits.
Yeah, well, when you talk about that control line, so basically the pit lane here at Teretonga is actually before the start-finish line where the lap starts. So you've come out of the pits and you're still on the previous lap effectively. So you're accelerating out of pit lane, you've gone across the start-finish line where you've then triggered the start of a lap to come back around. So that's where it's been classified as a completed lap. And because they completed a lap in qualifying through that situation, it's qualifying was a standing result, but you can certainly understand the frustration as well. So certainly it makes it a tough one for their team heading forward for the rest of the weekend.
Live championship points would have Ugo Chukwu leading by 25 now over Kanato Lee. So 210 plays 185, with Jin Nakamura 1 point further back in third. Freddie Slater would climb to fourth on 179 points. So big gains potentially, as we've touched on. So he would jump from outside the top 5 into the 4, heading into race 2 later on this afternoon. 7 laps to go. There'll be 6 to go next time by, and that is when the GR Super Safety Car will peel off back into pit lane and we'll go back to racing.
So just to note as well, looking at the way that the field has been formed up, Latourette now has dropped to the back. He was originally in between Slater and Nakamura as well. So now he's been dropped to the back. It frees things up a bit and makes a bit more of a race at the front. But we're intrigued to see how Kalle Rosberg goes off the start here. He's been super racy. We know how fast Freddie Slater's been out at front as well. As we can see the safety car, the Toyota GR Super Safety Car, it's pulled away. And once again, it is up to Freddie Slater. I wouldn't be surprised if you just see a copy-paste of what he did last time. As I was saying, it is predictable, but the sooner you can open the steering wheel, the sooner you can get on the throttle, the better off you are, because you've got to think, Nakamura behind, he's still turning through the corner, so he physically can't get on the gas at the same rate. So it's a predictable strategy, but it's a great way to go.
M2 competition leading the way. Already 2 race wins this season with Ugo Chukwu, but High-Tech hunting in a pack behind them with Nakamura, Rovanperä and Kanato Lee. So they've got strength in numbers behind them. Away we go. Another perfectly judged restart for Freddie Slater. Perfect. He's got 5 car lengths by the time he gets to the start-finish line. They all move across to the inside to try and break the toe before they get to turn 1, side by side. A little bit further back, Ugo Chukwu looking to make a move on Ryan Wood. You can go round the outside at turn 1, and there is proof again. Another position gained by the championship leader, was it? No, he didn't get by. So Ryan Wood holding on. Good fights behind there. Cooper Shipman in there too. Theo McLaughlin's at the back of that group and trying to buy into it. Oh, Louis Sharp, he's taken the front wing off. You just heard from the team principal saying there's danger when you're back in the field, and it compromises your whole weekend, and there is proof of that.
That is a massive shame for Louis Sharp. He needed to make the most out of the situation, but unfortunately for him, a bad weekend is just getting worse.
Ricardo Baptista in the lane as well, with another front wing going on his car. So 2 cars pitting for damage. Will be right at the very back of the field, and we'll focus on a fastest lap, which can influence the grid for race 3 tomorrow. Kanato Lee looking racy now on the back of his teammate Kalle Rovanperä for 3rd and 4th place. Final step on the podium up for grabs. 5 laps left in race 1 at Teretonga.
So choosing quite a wide line through turn 1, so there's obviously a lot of grip on the outside there. They're getting off the rubbered part of the track where it gets very, very slippery. So they're all following each other on their wider line.
Now, Andrew, I'm no detective, but the fact that Louis Sharp and Baptista both came in with damage is not lost on me, and it's not lost on race control either. They are investigating a potential incident between those 2 drivers that have caused them both damage and caused them both to go to pit lane.
Starts settling down again after that restart, and once again Calais Rovenpera is starting to put pressure on the back of Jin Nakamura there.
And Freddie Slater's just disappeared. 3.1 seconds and sets the quickest lap of the race as well. With 4 to go, 101.70, way quicker than anybody else in the field. They're all battling for position. He's got clean air, no spray, and clean racetrack in front. Ryan Wood's still got Igachukwu behind him. And Theo McLaughlin there as well, having a stronger race, with Sebastian Manson rounding out the top 10. Yuatu Chui's going slowly in car number 5, which is at the back of shot, dropping back down the order a little bit, having climbed up towards the top 10 from the back of the field.
Igachukwu now, he's not really making too many inroads on Ryan Wood at the moment, so a bit of status quo.
Dancing around out of the left-hander at the back of the circuit, the hairpin, and then that run down into the final corner. Lots of oversteer being dialed in these low grip conditions. 3 to go. Slater, the margin continues to build. 3.8 seconds now over Nakamura. Rovenpera clinging on to him in the fight for 2nd and 3rd place. What a drive this is for the Finn. Give him an opportunity to race at the front of the field, we said at the start of the year, and this is what we've got, and he has shown that he belongs.
You've got to remember, this isn't a reverse race. This is just a straight qualifying effort, which put him at the front of the field, and he is clearly able to race at the front with the fast guys. He seems to coming, didn't we? Just the rate of improvement for Rovenpera as he's been going through the first 2 rounds. He's just been getting better and better every time he's on track, and now to be convincingly running with the guys at front is great to see.
I'm sure he's been keeping an eye on the action over in the Monte Carlo Rally. Opening round of the World Rally Championship is on this weekend. Hello to Kiwi Hayden Padden, who is going along nicely on what is not his chosen discipline of rallying on the bitumen, but he's going along well inside the World Championship points. 2 laps to go. Freddie Slater's nearly 5 seconds out in front now, looking for his first win. And he had his name to the winners list that includes Igachukwu, Sharp, Wood, Schooler, and Wharton.
That commitment for these guys into turn 1. It's so fast into that part of the track. Obviously, we've seen all the moments as we see Ella. He's off the road. It looks like it's at turn 1, same spot. Neron, to me, looks like the same spot as where we saw Schooler go in there. It's certainly an easy spot, as I was just talking about as it happened. So where the moments are coming from, so you can see just here as he's coming into shot from the right-hand side of the screen, he's just gone straight ahead off there.
Is the crosswind catching them out a little bit? Because it's a tailwind going into turn 1, and then you get halfway through the corner and the wind's on the side of the car. Is it unsettling them in the low grip, or is it just the low grip?
It's the low grip. Yes, the wind won't be helping, but it's a place where we feel as a driver you can always improve. Every lap you go into there, you think to yourself, I could have cleared the brake quicker. I could have carried more speed into there. And then you go in the next lap. Yeah, I could have cleared the brake quicker to carry more speed, to be faster. And it's just that same thing every lap. And then unfortunately it gets to a point where, again, risk versus reward. Do I clear the brake quicker? Oh, I've now cleared the brake too quick. And at that point, you're a passenger. You can't then slow it up. As we're in dry conditions, yes, it's a lot faster, but you've got more of a chance to save a moment on the way in by grabbing the brakes, slowing the car up before it does leave the circuit. So, you know, if it was dry, there'd be so many moments down at turn 1, but we wouldn't see cars leave the circuit. It's just the nature of these conditions when things just aren't quite right and you just want to get faster. Because believe it or not, in these conditions, you actually go faster by using the brake correctly more than using the throttle correctly. About, you know, manipulating the car, using the brake to keep the weight on the nose of the car to help it rotate and then clear it faster to carry more speed into the corner. And then the throttle becomes a bit of a byproduct that you can only pick it up when you're able to get on the exit of the corner, one in steering.
So the final corner awaits, and a couple of firsts await for us as well in a dramatic start to proceedings here at Teretonga. This top 3 is a fascinating one. And Freddie Slater is going to get his first career win in CTFROT and become the 6th different winner of the season. He'll follow the safety car to the line, but to join the winners list in an increasingly competitive championship, finally it's Freddie. He gets his first win of the season at Teretonga, and it was a dominant one as well. Saw off Rivera at the opening corner, and from there he was dominant. Jin Nakamura second for the third time this season, and Carlo Rovanperä is on the podium for the first time in his single-seat career. That is a little milestone that will be remembered. His first trophy in circuit racing. What an outstanding job and a brilliant drive to edge out his teammate Kanato Lee. But Slater, the sixth different winner of the season in race number 9. That is a very big result for M2 competition to get their third win of the year. Nakamura next and Rovanperä the podium. Good day for High Tech with Kanato Lee just missing the podium. Jack Taylor backing up in strong form from Topor in 5th place. And Cooper Shipman, that's an outstanding result. His best of the season in 6th place. Ryan Wood was 7th. Hugo Gachukwu in 8th position. The championship leader has some points cut out of his lead. Theo McLaughlin 9th and Sebastian Manson rounding out the top 10. What could have been Louis Sharp points, but not enough of them in 12th. And DNFs for Zach Schooler, Rivera at the start of the race, and Yevan David after some amazing moves. Highlights, a wild one to kick off proceedings here at the Ascot Park Hotel Teretonga International. A busy start, a drag race between the two on the front row. A better start from those behind, and Rovanperä and Nakamura found themselves boxed in, but at turn 1, Rivera in and out just as quickly. And that was his race done, and that was the first safety car of the race.
Not a good way for him to start it. And you can see earlier in the race, the conditions were far worse, but what a move for Jack Taylor around the outside. Had a bit of a go and got it done. Not often you see a move around the outside of turn 1.
Yevan David was making awesome moves all the way through, and this one around the outside of Tway in car number 5, who unfortunately didn't capitalise on a top 10 position early, and then a series of events with 3 cars at 3 corners, all independently. Zach Schooler was off the road, Evan David was off the road, Trevor Latourette had a spin as well. That brought out a safety car, and then this brought out the safety car that ended the race. Nolan Ella, after what's been a really strong weekend for the American, off in the gravel trap and out. Freddie Slater, though, for the first time, gets a win. The Formula Regional European champion is now a winner in New Zealand as well. Another unpredictable result in CTFROT this season in what has been an underlying trend of the championship so far. But to the applause and Allied Petroleum victory lane, Freddie Slater will go and celebrate with the M2 competition team, who win for the 3rd time this year. And the young Brit has done the job. I'm sure his dad's not too far away to celebrate. There he is. Great to see the family on hand too, which is very cool. That was imperious. Every restart managed perfectly. Pull a margin, repeat all the way through.
Yeah, as much as unpredictability throughout that race, I think it was only a matter of time till we were going to see Freddie Slater pull together a win like that. He's certainly looked fast throughout the season and got it all together in this one. And it'll be a nice relief for him to get the race win, especially in these wet conditions. He might be hoping it's going to be wet for the rest of the weekend with speed like that in these conditions.
Well, if it is, good luck beating him, but he will start 8th from race number 2 as we flip the top 8, which means Uga Chukwu gets to start from the front row. He's in Allied Petroleum victory lane, and that's where he finds Rihanna Crean.
Yes, we welcome him back to Allied Petroleum victory lane, but this time on the top step of the podium. Congratulations, Freddie Slater, representing M2 competition. Freddie, incredibly difficult conditions for you guys out there, but man, you were quick. How much did you enjoy that?
Yeah, that's probably one of the most fun I've had. You know, a wet track, on a track like that, so much risk. You're just flirting with the limits the whole way around, you know. There's so much, like I say, so much risk and such a fine margin. It was just good fun, you know, being out there, driving, getting in a rhythm. Also, we had a few safety cars we had to manage, and I think we did a good job with that, and then, and then go from there.
Outstanding drive for you. Congratulations. I know you want to go and celebrate with your friends and family. Once again, back on victory lane, Jin Nakamura from High Tech. Congratulations, Jin. Tough conditions out there, but your consistency meeting us here in this podium has been impressive so far this season.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, this race was quite tough for tough for me. So Freddie was putting away, but just calm down. Yeah, I did just do my job.
And you did it so very well. Congratulations, Jin. And for the first time in Allied Petroleum Victory Lane in single-seaters, Calais Rovenpera from High Tech. Congratulations, Calais. Boy, did you shine in these conditions. Well done, your very first podium in single-seaters.
Yeah, it was interesting conditions today. Already quali was really tricky, but obviously it was clear that you just need to stay out of trouble. That's what we did, and same in the race. The pace was pretty okay, so yeah, nice podium.
Do you feel these conditions suit you?
Yeah, it seems to be definitely better than the try, so now we just need to do the same thing on try. So yeah, thanks to the team, all good.
Congratulations, enjoy this podium.
And on that note, let's launch straight into it. Our podium for race 1 here at Teretonga Park in Invercargill for the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy. Delighted to be joined by Bob McMurray, brand guardian for Toyota GAZOO Racing, to deliver today's trophies. You just heard Rihanna there a moment ago. A special moment in single-seaters for this guy from Finland for High Tech. Third place. How about it, Calais Rovenpera? In second place today, he's been a model of consistency in this championship, wet or dry conditions. From Japan, for High Tech, Jin Nakamura. And a nice story for this driver, and it's commenced here since he arrived at Invercargill. Freddie Slater is a winner in CTFROT for M2. Freddie's smile says it all. The media there to capture the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, your podium for race 1 of the Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Trophy here in Invercargill. We've had a little change in the commentary box here, and we're set to go racing in the SP Tools TA2 New Zealand Championship. 2 formation laps. Cars have already headed out of pit lane. Delighted to be joined for the call by Ronan Murphy, who is with us in the commentary box, as well as someone who has proudly championed this class. He's been a V8 Ute champion. He's competed in TA2 in Asia. He was driving a car yesterday. Sadly, it's not the case now. Welcome back to commentary, Paul Manuel.